On March 31, 1889, a bold and unprecedented structure was officially inaugurated in Paris, rising above the Champ de Mars as the centerpiece of the Universal Exposition celebrating the centenary of the French Revolution. The Eiffel Tower was conceived as a monumental entrance arch to the fair, a spectacular but temporary structure intended to stand for only 20 years. Few could have imagined that this iron giant, once criticized and nearly dismantled, would become the most recognizable monument in the world. At the time of its completion, the tower stood 312 meters tall. With the addition of antennas over the years, its height increased to 324 meters, and since 2022, it reaches approximately 330 meters. Originally weighing 7,300 tons of iron with a total weight of about 10,100 tons, it was an engineering achievement unlike anything humanity had attempted before. Its four pillars form a square 125 meters wide at the base, each pillar measuring 25 meters across. The first floor rises 57 meters above the ground, the second 115 meters, and the third 276 meters. There are 1,665 steps to the summit, and elevators now carry visitors upward, though in its earliest days the climb had to be made on foot. The tower bears the name of its creator, Gustave Eiffel, one of the most accomplished engineers of the 19th century. Born in Dijon in 1832, Eiffel trained as a civil engineer and quickly established himself as a master of iron construction. His company designed bridges, viaducts, and metal frameworks across Europe and beyond. Before building the tower that would immortalize him, he had already contributed to one of the most famous monuments in the United States, the internal iron structure of the Statue of Liberty. The Eiffel Tower would become his ultimate statement, a fusion of science, industry, and daring imagination. In his later years, Eiffel turned his attention to aerodynamics and meteorology, continuing to push the boundaries of scientific research until his death in 1923. When Eiffel presented the project in 1885, he described the tower as a tribute to modern engineering and to the century of industry and science that followed the Enlightenment and the Revolution of 1789. But not everyone shared his enthusiasm. Even before construction began, prominent writers and artists denounced the design as monstrous, disproportionate, and ugly. They feared it would disfigure Paris. Eiffel responded calmly, arguing that the tower would be the tallest structure ever built by man, and asking why something admired in Egypt, like the pyramids, should be considered ridiculous in Paris. Time would vindicate him. The idea of a 300-meter iron tower emerged during preparations for the 1889 exposition. A public competition invited proposals to build an iron tower 300 meters high with a square base 125 meters wide. Out of 107 submissions, the winning design was developed by engineers Maurice Coquelin and Émile Noguier within Eiffel's company, refined by architect Stéphane Salvestre, and championed by Eiffel himself. The concept was revolutionary: four immense lattice girders, separated at the base and united at the summit, connected by metal beams at regular intervals, essentially an extrapolation of bridge engineering to unprecedented height. Salvestre initially embellished the design with masonry bases, monumental arches, and decorative features to make it more appealing. Although many ornaments later simplified, the great arches at the base remained, giving the tower its distinctive silhouette. The curvature of the legs was not decorative whim, but mathematical precision. Every line was calculated to ensure optimal resistance to wind. As Eiffel explained, the structure appears to rise from the ground and mold itself under the force of the wind, allowing pressure to pass naturally through its framework. Construction began on January 26, 1887. The foundations were completed in just 5 months. On the side facing the Seine River, watertight metal caissons with compressed air allowed workers to build below water level. Each pillar rests on its own concrete foundation, exerting a surprisingly modest pressure on the ground. Precision defined every step of the process. All 18,038 iron pieces were manufactured at Eiffel's factory in Levallois-Perret near Paris. Engineers produced 5,300 technical drawings, calculating each component within 1/10 of a millimeter. Between 150 and 300 workers assembled the structure on site. Approximately 1/3 of the 2.5 million rivets were installed directly on the tower itself. The rest were pre-assembled in the factory. Installing a single rivet required 4 men. Heated until red hot, the rivet was inserted and hammered into place. While it cooled, it contracted, fastening the iron pieces securely together. A journalist visiting the site described thick smoke of tar and coal filling the air as workers perched high above the ground struck glowing metal that sent sparks flying into the sky as if harvesting lightning from the clouds. Wooden scaffolding and small steam cranes attached to the structure itself were used to lift the enormous beams. Sandboxes and hydraulic jacks allowed engineers to adjust the alignment of the pillars with millimeter precision. The assembly of the pillars began in July 1887. The first floor was completed in April 1888, the second in August 1888, and the third on March 31, 1889, exactly 2 years, 2 months, and 5 days after construction began. For the era, it was a record-breaking accomplishment. Gustave Eiffel himself was awarded the Legion of Honor at the top of the tower upon its completion. When the Universal Exposition opened on May 15, 1889, the Eiffel Tower immediately became its central attraction. Nearly 2 million visitors climbed it during the fair, around 12,000 per day. In the first week alone, before elevators were operational, almost 30,000 people ascended by staircase to the second floor. The tower offered more than height. On the first floor stood 4 themed restaurants: Russian, Anglo-American, French, and Flemish. Souvenir shops, photography studios, and binocular rentals lined the platforms. On the second floor, the newspaper Le Figaro installed a printing press that produced a special daily edition, allowing visitors to have their names printed as proof of their ascent. At night, hundreds of gas lamps illuminated the structure, and a tricolor beacon projected blue, white, and red light over Paris. Despite its early success, the tower's future remained uncertain. Its permit expired in 1909, and dismantling was seriously considered. It was saved by science. Eiffel had installed radio antennas at its summit, demonstrating its value for wireless communication. During World War I, it transmitted crucial signals to French troops. In World War II, during the occupation of Paris, elevator cables were cut and public visits were suspended, yet the tower endured. For more than 40 years, it remained the tallest man-made structure in the world. In 1930, it was surpassed by the Chrysler Building, which rises to 319.8 meters. Even so, the Eiffel Tower retained its symbolic supremacy. Over the decades, it has evolved with the times. It is repainted every 7 years, requiring about 60 tons of paint. In summer, thermal expansion can cause it to grow up to 15 centimeters taller. In winter, it contracts by a similar amount. Strong winds can make its summit sway slightly. A transparent glass floor now allows visitors on the first level to look straight down 57 meters to the ground. In recent years, the monument has incorporated sustainable energy systems and improved accessibility. Between 1925 and 1934, the French automobile manufacturer Citroën transformed the tower into the largest illuminated advertisement in the world, covering it with thousands of light bulbs. The monument has also been the target of elaborate scams, including a notorious con in which a fraudster attempted to sell the iron of the tower to unsuspecting businessmen. Today, the Eiffel Tower is the most visited paid monument in the world, welcoming around 7 million visitors each year, roughly 75% of them from abroad. Since 1889, nearly 300 million people have stood beneath its arches or climbed toward its summit. Beneath it lies a hidden bunker, once used during wartime. At its top, Gustave Eiffel once maintained a private apartment where he received distinguished guests, including inventor Thomas Edison. What began as a controversial experiment in iron became the defining symbol of France and a universal icon of human ingenuity. The Eiffel Tower is more than a monument. It is the embodiment of an era when science, industry, and ambition reshaped the skyline of Paris, and in doing so, reshaped history itself.